Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Kessler from Kessler Insurance, and I am here today with Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. And as always, it is my privilege to do this with Joanne Burchuk. Hey, Joanne.
Hi, Lisa. Yes, I'm Joanne Burchuk with Lighthouse Physical Therapy, and we're excited to have another great episode of Cheers for Charity today. And we would like to welcome Mark from the Special Olympics New Hampshire. Welcome to the program. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Just tell everybody about the Special Olympics.
Well, I'm a senior manager of multimedia for Special Olympics New Hampshire. Multimedia because we try to be in as many places as we possibly can these days, and senior because, I'm an old guy. That's not why they put that in the title, though. I don't want to get anyone upset. And Special Olympics New Hampshire serves a little more than 3,000 children and adults in the Granite State with intellectual disabilities. We do this with a relatively small office staff, but about 5,000 wonderful volunteers across the entire state. A lot of people think about Special Olympics in the summertime when we've got a big multi-day event at UNH, or in the winter when the Penguin Plunge is at Hampton Beach, and other big events like that. But it's important for people to know that Special Olympics is year-round. We have 68 local programs in the state that are always either training or doing some social events or having their own actual local or regional competitions. And during the school year, we have more than 75 school-based programs that are competing as well. So it's not just the events that you hear about on the news or see in the newspaper. We are busy year-round.
Wow, I guess so. Yeah, I had no idea you had that many going on all the time. You do hear about the big ones. So tell us about, first of all, the people that participate. What is there in age, and how do people qualify to be able to participate?
Special Olympics has sort of split this into two distinct groups. We have a program called Young Athletes. Young Athletes are for children ages 2 to 7, and these are children both with and without intellectual disability. It's usually typically a once a week kind of meeting, and usually in some sort of a school gym, that sort of situation. And it's learning basic motor skills, following basic commands. It's good for kids with intellectual disabilities, and it's good for children without intellectual disabilities. And of course, it all has that flavor of inclusion that is so important to Special Olympics New Hampshire. Once a child reaches age 8, they can transfer over to traditional Special Olympics. And from there, literally the sky is the limit. There is no age cap. We have athletes that are in their 50s and 60s that have been part of Special Olympics New Hampshire for literally decades.
Oh, that's great. And so you have a lot of programs that you're doing in the schools. Now, is that younger program that you were talking about, or is both programs offered in the school?
The Young Athletes program is offered in different locations, and as I said, some of them may be using a school facility, but that's not part of the school program. In the schools, we have what we call unified sports programs, and again, these are students with and without intellectual disabilities learning together, playing together, training together, and competing together. Again, we come back to inclusion. And oftentimes in schools, it goes beyond sports. The schools, if they have something that they think is warranted, they're welcome to talk to us and run with it. A good example would be at Dover High School. There is a unified drama club at the high school, doing stage plays and all the things associated with that.
So you guys are all about fun.
Well, fun and sports.
Yeah, well, it's all good,
and that's a nice intersection.
Yeah, that's great. And then tell us a little about some of the other local programs that you're offering.
The programs are, again, run by volunteers, and some of them are very small. we have a couple of local programs that are just one or two athletes, and oftentimes they'll be traveling to neighboring communities and things for larger competitions. And then you have a program like Manchester, which is about 100 or so strong with athletes. It really depends, but we are in geographically every corner of the state. So when we do our big events like the summer games at UNH or the winter games at Waterville Valley, people are coming from all across the state, getting together, training and competing, and hopefully having a little bit of fun along the way.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys solely run by donations, or are you able to tap into any sort of government grants, or do you have a lot of corporate sponsors? What?
We have some wonderful corporate sponsors locally in the state. I would tell you that the Napoli Group, the folks that own a number of McDonald's locations in the state, are very kind to us. Coca-Cola Beverages Northeast, Associated Grocers of New England, the folks at Eversource, they all provide us with funds. They provide us with materials needed for some of these big events, and just as important as those other two things, they often provide us with manpower, a lot of volunteers to help out at some of our big events. There's no state funding involved, and there is some federal funding that goes to Special Olympics North America, and some of that comes our way. But specifically in the state of New Hampshire, it's donations from people, and it's donations from companies and corporations, and donations of people's time and talent.
It's a lot of giving.
We're very lucky. We are very lucky.
Well, it's such a great program, and it just the athletes that may not be able to compete in another area, this gives them such a great opportunity to get out there and do their thing.
I've been an employee for a few years now, but I will tell you that I started being involved with Special Olympics New Hampshire at the second Penguin Plunge. And in 2024, it will be the 25th Penguin Plunge. So I've been around a long time, and I tell people when you see an athlete score or get any kind of a win or succeed in any way, the joy that you see on the athlete's face is something that's palpable and you can take home with you, and makes everything worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, so can I interrupt with a quick question?
Yes, of course.
Mark, you've been involved with this program for a really long time. Do you have and I'm putting you on the spot, but like a particular story about an event or instance or something that you were just like, oh my gosh, this totally represents everything that Sika, and I'm sure this happens like at every turn, right? You see these wonderful participants, but is there something that, when I say that to you, is there a story that sort of sticks out with you that represents the Special Olympics experience?
A couple of stories. One would be a young man named Jack Elkin. He's a runner. Not only is he a runner, he's a wicked fast runner on the track. Jack has no arms, and Jack has learned his own style of running, his own way of running. The question I had for him was, what happens if you trip? And he learned to roll. He learned to protect himself, even with the lack of arms. And Jack was one of the athletes chosen to go to the USA Games in Orlando, Florida last year. Mm. And Jack was pretty much turning us down. Jack was frightened of the whole airplane experience, the airport experience, and who loves airports anyway? And just was so far out of his comfort zone. He he wasn't comfortable going. And his mom and dad talked to him, and Special Olympics North America does for these national games. They call it the Special Olympics Airlift. They recruit big corporations from around the country that have access to private jets, and some athletes are chosen to get transported to and from the event on private jets. And Jack, we put Jack into that category because it would bypass most of the airport experience and the whole airline portion that was making him a little uncomfortable, because we don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. And so ultimately Jack said, okay, fine, I'll do this. But he was still doing it kind of reluctantly, but his parents were encouraging him. And Jack did this. And we never know what's going to happen on the other end, what the plans are. And sometimes these plans involve celebrities. And of course, those schedules change. But he landed in Orlando, and the group was met by Peyton Manning, who took pictures, chatted with them. And along the way, Jack met a few other celebrities, some WWE superstars, and a few other folks. And the Orlando USA Games in June were produced by Disney, and a lot of it happened on Disney property. So it was just an incredible experience. And I'm going to be rude here for just a second. I'm going to turn my back to the camera because Lisa, you started this. You said you were putting me on the spot, so now I've got to do the same to you. And maybe we can edit this out, but Jack came back from the June 2022 USA Games in Orlando, and with the aid of his mother, Jack wrote a book called Run Your Own Race. And a family friend of theirs is an accomplished children's book illustrator, and put the illustrations in the book. But this is Jack, with the aid of his mom, putting words to paper about his Special Olympics experience. It's called Run Your Own Race, the true story of a Special Olympics athlete. It is Jack Elkin and his mom, Linda Elkin. It's available on Amazon, by the way. And I can tell you, in a bit of wild self-promotion here, that anything that is over and above the costs of the production of the book is being donated to Special Olympics New Hampshire. Jack and his family are not making any money off of this. This is a fundraiser for Special Olympics New Hampshire. And it's that kind of impact on a young man's life that Special Olympics has.
Yeah. And maybe it's just the start of his career in books. You never know where that
it could very well be, and that would be absolutely wonderful. You know, if you'd like another example, Lisa, I will tell you that we have an athlete named Thomas Cantera. Thomas Cantera started out with Special Olympics dozen, maybe 15 years ago, and a lot of what he wanted to do was to lose weight. And he did a number of different sports with us. We offer 17 different sports, but he settled on athletics and track and field. And I will tell you that in 2024, Thomas Cantera, who lives in Nashua, ran the Boston Marathon for the 5th time. And the time was, I'm going to get this wrong, but it was under 3 hours. It was a pretty impressive time. And Thomas credits his time with Special Olympics. And by the way, he did run this year as a fundraiser for Special Olympics New Hampshire, but he credits Special Olympics with him not only losing an awful lot of weight, but finding a sport that he truly, truly loves.
Okay, that's those are crazy. 2 amazing stories right there, right? And I bet you could do that all day long. with the impact.
Well, I don't have many more books, but yeah, I certainly could try.
That is so cool. So going forward, Special Olympics, you've got all these great programs. how can people get involved? What's the best way that people can sort of, they're interested, maybe they watch this and they're either know a loved one that would love to participate, they want to volunteer, they want to sponsor. What do we do?
SONH.org is in Special Olympics New Hampshire. SONH.org is basically the portal for all things Special Olympics New Hampshire. I will tell you that in the post-COVID world, where we've considered ourselves pretty lucky. I mean, all of our athletes were ready to go. The moment we could, they were there. They were ready. Let's do this. And why couldn't we have done this a month ago? And our donors came back, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. The thing that hasn't been keeping pace has been volunteers. Events that we've had since the end of the COVID era, if you can call that a thing. We've been struggling a little bit with having enough volunteers to make everything go the way that we want everything to go. It's getting better. But the volunteer component is something that certainly we would be looking for. And you can get information about that at SONH.org. And I will tell you that if you go to that website right now, we unleashed this after last weekend. We had the former Battle of the Badges Chad baseball game became a fundraiser for Special Olympics this year. And that took place this past Saturday, October 14th. At Delta Dental Stadium in Manchester. It was a game between police and fire personnel from 17 different police agencies in New Hampshire and 14 different fire, EMS, and rescue agencies in New Hampshire. It was a great day of baseball. We had an absolute wonderful time. And that particular event raised $138,850. And we thank everybody for that, including the volunteers and the players that came out to support SONH. The next thing that we are focused on is it's already Penguin Plunge season, if you can believe that. If you go to the website, at the very top of the website, there's a lovely photo of a couple of penguins on a shoreline. It's not Hampton Beach, but it's a lovely photo, and that will lead you to our winter water sports page as we get ready for the 25th annual Penguin Plunge, presented by our friends at Coca-Cola Beverages Northeast. That happens February 10th and 11th. The 10th is a Saturday. That will be the high school plunge and the middle school plunge. And then Sunday, it's the 25th annual Penguin Plunge on Sunday, February 11th. You can sign up for that now. The fundraising for all of that is done online. You can set up your own fundraising page, and then you can link it to your already existing social media. And if you get started now, you can do very well for yourself and your bragging rights, and for the athletes and programs of Special Olympics New Hampshire.
I give a lot of credit for people that can do that.
I did it for a number of years, 11 or 12 years, something like that. I'm there every year and helping out every year, but no, I'm not going into the water anymore. I will tell you, someone who and I don't know whether it's a metabolism thing or what, our friend Kevin Skarupa, meteorologist on News 9 Daybreak on WMUR TV, has been doing this every year for years now. And what a lot of people don't realize is we do this in waves at the beach on Saturday and Sunday. We do what's called waves, and the wave is the maximum number of people we can put in the water at one time. And we don't determine that. We have personnel from New Hampshire Fish and Game and from local fire departments that are divers in the water. They're in the suits, already in the water. And right there, and depending upon how many personnel they have available, they tell us how many people we can throw in. Sometimes it's 70 people at a clip, or it's 130 people at a clip. Whatever number the safety personnel tell us is what we do. So we can wind up on a Saturday with the high school plunge and the middle school plunge. We can wind up with 3, 4, or 5 different waves. And on Sunday, typically, it's 3, maybe 4 waves. Kevin Skarupa goes in with every single wave, has been doing that for years. And I call it the secret squirrel wave. We get a lot of help from the ROTC program at Winnicott High School in Hampton. And they get their own sort of special wave without the crowd and you know, all the hoopla and everything. And Kevin goes in with those kids as well. And he's been doing it for years and seems to enjoy it, and God bless him for it.
God bless for it. Yes, indeed.
You couldn't pay me enough money.
No, I'm not a fan of cold water, so that just sounds not like something I would enjoy doing. But I
something
can
that was
appreciate those that do it, and it's a great
Oh, yeah.
fundraiser for those that can.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank God people do it, and what a great cause, right? And I'm sure as people know the difference they make, you know, maybe the water doesn't feel as cold when you're doing good. I don't know. You know.
Well, we get I will say that, you know, because it's local, Hampton is wonderful to us. They turn this town upside down to make way for Special Olympics on Penguin Plunge weekend. Part of Ocean Boulevard is closed down and blocked off. We stage everything in the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom. Everyone crosses the street, goes, does what they need to do, gets back into the casino ballroom. We have volunteers that are at Winnicott High School in the kitchen, cooking the food and everything for the after party, and that's trucked over to the casino ballroom. There's a lot of moving parts for this thing, but it's celebrating its 25th year in 2024, and we appreciate everyone who, even if you can't donate, and even if you can't dip or plunge, come on out to the beach and cheer everybody on, because it's a big party.
Sounds great. Well, this was fun. I love all the upcoming activities that you have, and you guys are just rocking it with this community and providing such a gift for them to be able to participate. And I just really love what you guys do.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate the opportunity to be on, and remind everyone, registration is open for the Penguin Plunge at SONH.org.
Awesome. Well, we will make sure we share that. And thank you for your time today, Mark. This has been a blast. We really
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you, Joanne.
Welcome.